Today I fucked up hooking up with the best man and causing myself literal heartbreak. It was my dear friend's wedding this weekend and my first time meeting the best man in person, though we've worked together over Zoom for the last year. We hit it off and ended up dancing and talking most of the night, and when things wound down, I went back to his hotel room and yada yada yada, and it was really good. So I have a wonderful, petite mort, and then I start having literal heart pains. Chest palpitations, dizziness, couldn't breathe. Never happened to me before, and in that moment I wasn't sure if I was having a panic attack or a heart episode. And then I remembered that I'm on a medication that can cause heart problems. I had 2 EKGs back in August to monitor it and everything was fine, I forgot about it. And I realized I hadn't done anything as cardio intense as having sex with another person since before I started the meds. He was absolutely lovely and rubbed my back, calmed me down and talked through what was happening. Couldn't sleep for hours, but it finally died down and we got some semi-rest. We're both zombies in the morning saying goodbye to everyone, and I make an appointment to see my doctor for another EKG stat. Well, that EKG was today, and after explaining the situation to the nurse and getting the test done, the doctor comes in with 4 medical students in tow. I hear you had a cardiac episode during sexual intercourse. Tell me about that. Kill me now. I'm so glad I was wearing a mask because I'm sure I was bright red with embarrassment. I am sure the medical students were glad for their masks too. I don't know how anyone could keep a straight face. After I melted into the floor and died, they told me the EKG was normal, but I needed to see a cardiologist ASAP. So I have to take off work to tell this story to another doctor tomorrow, and probably get stress tested until I'm cleared to do cardio again, which I hope is soon because he's coming to visit next week. TLR: best man is best at sex and breaks latest ticker. Embarrassed lady becomes case study fodder for medical students. FML. I feel like this guy will be bragging about how he's so good at sex that his dick gave someone a heart attack for the rest of his life. Cardiac events are frequently brought on by intercourse, and it's much more common than you'd think, but sending you many well wishes on your heart health as well as for embarrassment. Don't sleep with the best man, he's a heartbreaker. Honesty: having a rapid heartbeat, or any heart distress from sex would probably be a good thing. Especially if the sex was good. Otherwise boo. Hope your heart is all good though, good luck. I also hope you told that guy what really happened and he doesn't think you are a weirdo. Maybe it's also a sign you really like him? They're paid to analyze all sort of situations. It's just computations to them. No sweat. So, on the day that I was born, my mom was sitting there, legs akimbo, in the stirrups when in walks a masked OB-GYN with a team of masked med students in tow, grabs the chart, looks up, and says, "Bill's Trash's mom's real name. Hey, it's me, Jimmy." And that's how my mom's ex-boyfriend got to see her coochie along with a band of merry mini-docs. I hear you had a cardiac episode during sexual intercourse. Tell me about that. At that point, you just gotta own it all and give every single dirty detail. Med student here. Just gave someone a rectal exam today. It ranks up there with eating saltine crackers. Believe me, we're desensitized. Today I fucked up by only using fancy foodie salt for 7 years. I moved to a new city 7 years ago, and as a matter of course got a new, better paying job. When stocking my new house with groceries, I thought, I'll buy the nice Himalayan pink salt this time. Over time I diversified my salt selection to include Malden Flakes, kosher salt, and diamond crystal, but left the Mortons behind. As the years went by I gained a bit of weight, but nothing shocking. My hair got a bit gray, and my joints started hurting in the mornings. I eat well, exercise often, and take care of myself. No big deal, right? This is what it means to get older. Fast forward to this spring and I had a thyroid function test come back abnormal. My doctor wanted to put me on thyroid medication immediately, but I started doing a bit of my own research and we agreed to do a retest in 3 months. I switched to a multivitamin with iodine included and put the Morton salt back in my pantry. 3 months later I've lost 15 pounds. My hair looks like Fabio. My skin has cleared up and I don't hurt every morning. Went back in for a test and my thyroid hormone has returned to a normal range. TLDR. Get plenty of iodine in your diet. Congrats. I'll just add for people who don't know, that Morton's, and other table salts, are usually iodized, iodine added. The fancy salts are not. And the salt that's in processed foods is generally not iodized, either. So you can have a very high sodium diet with almost no iodine. Edit to add. If anyone's interested in the info from a more credible source than a rondo on Reddit. Harvard Health Publishing article on salt and iodine. Iodine was specifically added to salt around 1924 to combat some serious health problems associated with iodine deficiency. Morton was the first company to add iodine on a national scale, which is why they are still associated today in people's minds with iodized salt, even though most standard white table salt found in stores today has an iodized option. So, yes, iodine is very important, and the easiest way, in the U.S., to add it to your diet is to use iodized salt. If you live in a region that doesn't have depleted soil, you may be fine without supplementing. Going to look into this. Been using kosher and sea salt for years. Good on you for advocating for your own health. Can you mention the supplement? I had a doctor randomly mention this effect a few years ago when we were taking about nutrition and millennial eating habits. It is in fact a real thing. Oh my goodness. My husband and I have been gaining weight pretty steadily for the past couple of years, even though we are active and eat relatively healthy and haven't changed our lifestyle much. We have also been cooking exclusively with sea salt that is not iodized the past few years. I would have never made this connection. I think we'll ditch the sea salt for a while and see what happens. Thank you for sharing. Man, I think I learn more from this sub through the screw-ups of others than I do through the Life Pro Tip sub. Thank you for posting this TIFU. I had a similar problem happen to me. I turned to a plant-based diet a few years ago, vegan. So no meat or dairy. I also was buying sea salt at the time. For a while I had a problem where my brain felt really slow and my thinking would be quite fuzzy. Some days were much worse than others. I came to find out through some fellow helpful vegans that this could be iodine deficiency. Since cow udders are washed in iodine to disinfect them, iodine ends up in all dairy products. Since I wasn't eating dairy or eating iodized sea salt, I was missing out on iodine. Once I started buying iodized sea salt again, this problem went away immediately. So if you know any vegans, make sure you ask if they are using supplements with iodine or eating iodized salts. Today I fucked up by putting icy hot on my vagina. This happened minutes ago. I was cleaning the bathroom and found a bottle of rub on icy hot. I remembered reading something where a woman put it on her cooch and it felt really good. I get on the toilet and rub it on, and it feels good for a second, but then it happened. The worst burning pain I have felt in my life, right there. I swear I could feel the flames forcing their way through my body. My mom was in the other room, so I couldn't make any noise. I tried rubbing it with wet toilet paper, but that made it worse. I resorted to laying down for 5 minutes. It's been about 10 minutes and it calmed down a little, but it still hurts and nobody knows. I'm scared to see what it looks like. Did I mention I'm on my period? Too long, did not read. Thought it was a good idea to put icy hot on my privates. Ended up in the worst pain I have been in my life. I see you have just learnt one of the most invaluable lessons with the internet. Do not trust anything you read on the internet. In all seriousness, I winced when I read this. Never put anything on your private parts that is not explicitly stated to be for sexual uses, with the only exception being shower gel and other body washing stuff. And even then, do not stick anything actually inside your genitals, as it's a really bad idea, especially for women, as doing this can mess up the pH balance within your vagina, which is not a good thing. The good news is that icy hot should wash off with water, so ran yourself a shower and you should be able to fix this fuck up pretty quickly while also having a funny story, cautionary tale to tell once you get past the embarrassment. As someone who once did something equally stupid back in his more innocent and curious days, all I can say is grimace. Yeah, ever seen Revenge of the Nerds? Tears of joy. I think whatever you read was either written by a troll or a masochist. Ah, the old icy hot on private parts. My testicles have not forgotten that day. Had a friend in high school that put rub a 535 on his nuts. He said it was the worst feeling he's ever had. One of our female friends didn't think it would be that bad and smeared some on her hand, then shoved it down her pants. She hit the floor and started doing the funky chicken. Spent the next 20 minutes in the bathroom running cold water on her snatch. If you want temperature play, there's lubes and creams for that. Never ever put something on your genitals that isn't meant to be there, especially icy hot. Bless you. You'll be fine though, just wash it out with mild soap ASAP. Try washing it off with some dish soap and warm water. Today I fucked up. I'm 19 female and my 44 male dad saw my coochie. I was in deep sleep. My dad is about to go to work and he knocked on my door and brought in the dog so the dog will have company. He does this every time him and mom goes to work. I wasn't wearing anything down there because I sleep without underwear, so I put my underwear and pants on and open the door very slightly so the dog can come in, not my dad. But guess what, my dad still comes in and awkwardly comes out of my room. I slept again, then woke up a few hours later. I realized I didn't put my underwear and pants right. My coochie was out the whole time. I was so out of it that I didn't notice it. I knew it was a little breezy down there after I put on my pants, but I literally just woke up. I didn't know SHT. Now I want to bury myself so I won't have to see my dad again or move out, but I'm just a student, I have no job. This might be the reason and sign for me to get a job and move out. TLR. LMAO, I mean it's nothing he hasn't seen before since you were little, lol. Good parents don't even think that way. You are always their babies, lol. Moving out is a bit much due to embarrassment thought. Lol, I've done worse and have shaken it off. I'm a father. I'd do anything for my girls. I do not want to catch them in this same situation, but if I did there is no shame. I'd do anything for my little girls, and to think they'd be so embarrassed they'd want to leave would break my heart. 1. Yo, daddy has seen coochie before. 2. This ain't the first time you've done something like this in front of him, it's just the first time you noticed. 3. Guess who has had a daughter for 19 years and has it programmed into his head to automatically look up and the right before his brain can process what was seen in these situations? It's your dad. He has that programmed in his head. Seriously, even if he did notice and see your bits, it probably just automatically appears pixelated to him. Just like watching Cops. It'll never be as funny as the dude seeing how thick he was in his one piece and his dad walks by like what the fuck and they both start laughing. Your pops will never bring it up. How does one put their pants and underwear on so incorrectly that a coochie is visible? Not that big of a deal, it was an accident and is something you guys will get over eventually. Moving out because of this is a little dramatic, lol. Your dad has probably seen your coochie more times than you have, it's likely a non-issue. But, yeah, 19 and still living at home isn't abnormal either. Don't be in such a rush to live in poverty. You know what, it is your dad and not some random stranger. He probably changed your diaper when you was a baby and also seen your butt. Lol. It might be awkward, but not worth packing your bags and walking out with your head down. Your dad would be like, what are you doing?